Premier League prediction time, game week 25. Yeah, people. I may have my new channel, the Blue Throne. Started out the football prediction over there. I did predict the whole season who will become champion. Of course, I did name my side for win the title, but we're far off right now. We have by 13 points. So it takes a monumental effort for Chelsea to win this title this year. But we still not give up. Yeah, some people that say me delusional, but based on what happened last season, I did predict us to clinch the title. However, it's not within reach at the moment, seeing that we are at game week 25. But anyway, people, the new channel, the Blue Throne, yeah, we are going to continue over there. So at the end of the season, end at and the starting of the new season, getting all the transfer in and all of those things. But today, we're just going to finish the rest of the Premier League on this channel. So come on out, support, tell me what you think in the comment section. It's I-ROC Entertainment right now. Alright, so as I say, at the end of the season, we'll move back over to the Blue Throne and consistency. Because I work on things like that, I've not been consistent. And some of the time, you're really not in the mood. Sometimes you come home and you're tired. So, you go when you have your balance out. But anyway, people, we're back with this right now. It's a Premier League prediction time. So, game week 25 and the first match will be played on Friday, and that will be Leeds United versus Nottingham Forest. Now, people, before we get into the prediction, just run through what happened in the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, basically. So the first matchup, the Carabao Cup semi-final, second leg, Arsenal versus Chelsea, that finishes 1-0. However, in the first leg, Arsenal beat us at home 3-2. Beat Chelsea at home 3-2, and that's where we, as Chelsea fans, lost the plot. That's where we, as Chelsea FC, lost the plot, because we shouldn't have lost at home. Now we went to the Emirates. We put up a good fight. We definitely needed a goal for it to continue. It never happened. It never happened. And in the end, in trying to do so, we lost 1-0 to one of our former player, Kai Havertz. Yeah, the dagger, as they would have said, in the heart, in the chest, and we're out. So we lost 4-2 on aggregate to Arsenal, and they move to Wembley in the final. In the second leg, Newcastle versus Man City. In the first leg, Man City won 2-0. Big advantage going into the second leg, which they played at the Etihad Stadium. And of course, as I said, they had already had the advantage going away to St. James's Park and winning there 2-0. Home result 2-0. And now, at home, leading by 2, they went all out. Mamouche and others went all out 3-1, beating Newcastle 3-1 and 5-1 on aggregate. So Arsenal versus Man City at Wembley, and I think that will play sometime in March. I think the 22nd, something like that. The 22nd or the 25th. It will be played next month. So, and of course, me no want Arsenal win. Yeah. Nah, support Arsenal. No gunners right here. Just like how we don't want to win the league. But it is what it is. Yes, Arsenal and Manchester City are through to the Carabao Cup final. So let us get into week 25 Premier League predictions. And Leeds will now take on Nottingham Forest. That's on Friday. And what I think of this game, because Nottingham Forest, down there near to the relegation zone. They're not in the relegation zone, but they're nearby. And I mean, I think they're about 4 or 5 points, 4 or 5 points off the relegation zone. Let's check that to be factual. Right, Nottingham Forest. And let's check the standing. Alright, so let's see. Why is that show so? Okay. Okay, we got it. So yes. So Nottingham Forest is 6 points off the relegation zone, and so is Leeds. Both are on the same identical points. Same identical point, 26 points each, and 6 off the relegation. So of course in the relegation we have West Ham, Burnley and Wolves, and would have already counted out Wolves as being relegated because it seemed kind of impossible for them to really get themselves out of that, seeing that we're what, 25 games, well, 25th game as 24 games in, and they're on 8 points. It's gonna take a monumentous task to really come from that. So we don't have Wolves relegated, basically. Many people. Anyway, for Nottingham Forest and Leeds. Leeds played Arsenal last weekend at Ellen Road. We thought Leeds would have put up a good fight. However, it was a cakewalk for Arsenal. Arsenal winning 4-0 at Ellen Road. They didn't put up a fight, even though they were in good form at home. They didn't put up a fight. Now for Crystal Palace, Crystal Palace basically has been on the downward trajectory. They lost Gay. They lost Gay to Man City, and before that they lost. Who they lost? I think they lost Eze to Arsenal, and the manager was furious. As we know, the manager is leaving at the end of the season. Basically, how I see this, I mean, Crystal Palace not at their best. Mateta basically wants to leave also on deadline day, but it didn't happen. I think he failed the medical. So basically, from my understanding, Crystal Palace seem to is on a downward trajectory. So in these instances, I'll favor Leeds. Leeds had a bad game last weekend against Arsenal. They'll look to rise up from that, and of course to stay in the Premier League. So I think Leeds will get a point. Leeds will get some points out of this. They will not lose this game. So in these instances, I'll predict a 3-1 victory for Leeds. So Leeds 3-1 versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is definitely not in the best shape right now. So I think Leeds will get the better of them, and Daniel Fark will definitely see what is happening and do. So 3-1 in favor of Leeds. Game number 2, we'll see Fulham take on Everton. Fulham put up a really good fight against Man United on the weekend. That was I think a Sunday game. It was a really entertaining game, and in the end, Man U clinch it. But it was really a good showing. Of course, Man United dominated the first the first half. Basically dominated the whole game. Basically, Fulham had some good chances. Didn't make use of them. However, I think it was in the 88th 88th minute, in that period, 88th to 90th minute, Fulham pull off the unthinkable by equalizing. But it was never to be, because in all fairness, when the change was made, for Sesko to come on, as he came on, he had a good opportunity. Didn't take that opportunity, because if he had taken that opportunity, Man United would have been out and about. They would have been 3-0 up. But Sesko did not take that opportunity, which hit the post and allow Fulham back into the game 2-2. But he did make amends by scoring the winner. So Fulham seems to be in very good form, basically, and they'll take on Everton. Now, Everton, this team is basically seem like a drawing team nowadays, because always a last minute equalizer. That's what they've been on for the last couple of matches, finding the back of the net in the very last minute. And they have done that for the past couple matches that they have drawn. Yeah. So for this one, Fulham at home, I'll give Fulham the edge. Yeah, Fulham is definitely scoring, so I'll definitely give Fulham a 2-1 win. Now, in the next game, Arsenal leading by six points, and they take on Sunderland. Sunderland had a great game against, who they played? Nottingham Forest? I think they played not Nottingham Forest. They played Burnley. I think they played Burnley and win them 3-0. Yeah, Burnley. So another good matchup, because the last time these two met, it was a 2-2 draw after Arsenal. I think Arsenal was leading 2-0, but the Black Cat pull it back to 2-2. Now, in all honesty, I think Arsenal will take the victory, seeing that they've blown away Leeds at Ellen Road 4-0 last weekend. Do me no want to win, them are going to win, because them are going to use a match as a match that they think they should have got the 3 points at the Stadium of Light the last time, but it didn't happen. And they left the Stadium of Light with only 1 point. Now, this one is at the Emirates. Yes, the Black Cats, I think the Black Cats lose 3-0 to West Ham. Yeah, we never see that one there come when it happened. 3-0 to West Ham. And on Monday, they won 3-0 at home at the Stadium of Light, beating Burnley. Now, Burnley, I predicted Burnley to go down. So, they're in a fight. They're still there, thereabout. But I think they will go down. And I think they will not have enough to stay up in the Premier League. However, Sunderland, I predicted Sunderland to stay up, and they're doing just fine. I think they're sitting in 8th place in the Premier League at the moment as speaking. I think they sit 8th place with their victory on Monday. Now, this match, Arsenal versus Sunderland, I can see it will be a good fight for Sunderland, but in the end, I think Arsenal will win this one, and I will predict a 2-0 scoreline. 2-0 scoreline. So Arsenal will get the 3 points. Not that I want that to happen, because as you can see, not that I want it to happen, but it's inevitable. It's inevitable. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. So on to the next match. Match number 4. Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. Damn. Bournemouth win on the weekend. I'm sure. Bournemouth won on the weekend. Yes. Bournemouth beat Wolves on the weekend 2-0. So they're looking good. However, Aston Villa, who is in the top 4, has been atrocious. Losing 1-0 to Brentford at home, with Brentford getting a red card. And not only that, getting a red card and scoring before and see out the game. I'm not going to waste too much time on this one. Definitely not going to waste too much time on this one, because Bournemouth is at home. Bournemouth is firing. Is a fighting team. Definitely a fighting team. And they will give Aston Villa problem, because Aston Villa definitely not playing how they used to. I mean, back in December coming up, they were on fire. I think they won 11 straight, beating the likes of Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, yeah. And they kind of fall off somewhere about there now, with the manager coming out and said a few things. But I'll have this one as a draw. 1-1 draw. A 1-1 draw. Even though I favored Bournemouth to take all 3 points, but I stick to a 1-1 draw in this one. The next fixture, Brighton versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, as I told you, drew with Nottingham Forest. Brighton drew with Everton. So it's a battle of the drawing team. Now Brighton has somewhat fall off in a way. You know what I mean? They haven't won a game in how many games now? They haven't won a game. And I definitely think this is the game that they're going to win. They're going to beat Crystal Palace. Yeah, I think this is the game that they will find some kind of revival and get back to winning ways, because Crystal Palace, as I said, is in some sort of crisis. So I won't waste time on this one. I'll go with Brighton 3-1 winners. Brighton to win 3-1. All right. Now this is gonna be the early kickoff on Saturday. The 5:30 kickoff on Saturday. Yeah. And it is Man United versus Tottenham Hotspur. Crazy weekend with these two, don't? Man United clinch it at the end versus Fulham. And of course, Tottenham come from 2-0 down to draw with Manchester City. Yeah, they show some fight and some grit in that game. So, Man United is at home at Old Trafford, and they take on Tottenham. The little dogs. They take on the little dogs, our little dogs. Because no matter what form we're in, that team is not gonna beat us. That's for sure. Anyway, Man United, as I said, is on a run, 3-game run under Carrick, Michael Carrick. He has defeated the likes of Arsenal, Man City, and Fulham. So he's on a run. This game is at home, and I can see nothing but a victory. Continuing the pace, continuing his winning form. You got the boys playing, and not just playing, as they're passing and they're firing. They're passing and they're firing. They're playing some good football, Man United, and it's a while I haven't seen them play like this. I'm having a kudos because one of the time we were mud brothers. We were mud brothers at one point in time. Not anymore. We're up there fighting. And so far, anything with Man United do, Chelsea do, or anything with Chelsea do, Man United do. So if they win on the day, look out for a victory for us. If we win on the day, look out for a victory from them. And that Messi are going from the other day. It's like a back and forth because they're leading us by 1 point. So I think we are now at 37 and they're on 38 points. No, they're on 41 points and we're on 40 points. Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, and it's just back and forth because they win. If I win, I will leapfrog them. That's if I play first. And if they play first, in this case, they're going to play first. So we're going to see the result. Based on the result, well, definitely Chelsea is going to get the result tomorrow. But when I reach the set. Anyway, Man United, as I said, will take this victory. Tottenham is like a kryptonite to Man City. And I mean, Man City get the chance to blow them out of the water in the first half. And somehow they come out second half being so lethargic, being so out of it. And in the end, they end up it end up 2-2. Dominic Solanke and a one goal from Gay. Seeing them. And you know what is weird about this? The goal that they credited to Markey being a own goal. I think that was a foul because Solanke went through Mark Gray, kicking Mark Gray. He never get the ball. So again, VAR, the inconsistency continues. Anyway, people, as I said, Manu will win this one. Manu will definitely win this one, and they're scoring goals. So as you can see, this one being a 4-1 victory. Tottenham may find a goal, but 4-1. I'm going for this one, 4-1. Burnley, West Ham. Burnley got 3 under them skin. 3 under them skin from Sunderland. And West Ham up 2-0 and lose the match at the bridge. One Chelsea blue. Anyway, I can see this being a dog fight. The two of them in the relegation. The two of them want to come out. West Ham did come out. Did put up a fight at the bridge. Went up 2-0. Absolutely outclassed Chelsea in the first half. Of course, Liam Rosino, the team that he put out was crap. Too much changes. But in the end, he rectified and made the right changes. And we came out victorious. So we can't complain. We left the bridge with all 3 points. And we send home West Ham. Now in this game, Burnley never put up a fight against Sunderland. 3-0. West Ham, I'm just going to favor West Ham because West Ham started to score and they were on form. So I'm going to favor West Ham to beat Burnley 2-0. Burnley, as I said, me and Burnley for go down. This is a battle of the clarets. You know what I mean? So it is going to be very interesting, but I'm going to pick West Ham to get the victory 2-0 in favor of West Ham. You know what I mean? Now the next match would be Wolves versus Chelsea. Yup. Wolves versus Chelsea. So far we have played Wolves 2 times this season. I think we have played them at home. I think we won that game 3-0. I think we beat them 3-0 at home. And in the cup, we won 3-2. In the Carabao Cup, we knocked them out 3-2. Yeah, they put up a good fight in the cup. However, when they came at home, we dismantled them, dispatching them 3-0. So this is a good game. Wolves, as we said, is relegated. We have them as being relegated so far, so I can't see them coming back. Chelsea just need to go there. Liam Rosino just need to go there, put out him strong side, deal with them, and then you make your changes. That's how we have to do it. Go down at the Molyneux, take all 3 points. So I predict Chelsea this game, because they would have seen how West Ham come at us at the bridge. So they will want to do that, being at home. You know what I mean? So they will try to come at us. But I'm hoping that Liam Rosino will not make the mistakes he made against West Ham with this bag of changes. Put out a strong side. Put up some score on the board, 3-4. Make your changes. See out the game. That's how it should be. So, may I predict we are going there and we're going to beat Wolves 3-0. Another 3-0 victory. 3-0. 3-0 victory. Now, the next one, we'll see Newcastle versus Brentford. Brentford, as I said, went to Villa and took all 3 points. Newcastle, I think Newcastle got battered by Liverpool 4-1. Let me go and look. Liverpool battered, yes. Newcastle got battered by Liverpool last weekend 4-1. They got battered again last night. Yesterday, basically, by Man City, and this week they took on. This weekend they take on Brentford. Brentford is in high spirit and they will smell blood and definitely move towards Newcastle. Oh, will this go? Newcastle at home, St. James's Park, has been a fortress for them in some way, because they have been losing a couple of matches there as well. So they are in trouble. Brentford, as I said, would smell blood and move to them. Anyway, I'm gonna just predict this one as I'm about Brentford. So I'm about Brentford to go there and win 1-0. 1-0 Brentford. 1-0 Brentford will get the better of Newcastle at St. James's Park. Liverpool, this is a big one. The Big Six clash. Man City in 2nd place. I think Liverpool is in 6th place. Right behind Chelsea. So, top 6 clash. Big 6 clash. Yeah, Liverpool versus Man City. And Liverpool coming off a victory in the league. Man City has drawn in the league. However, this in the cup last night, yesterday, they won 3-1. So they have put on their shooting boots. Anyway, Man City have not won at Liverpool in a while. Now, can they turn that around? No, they have to turn that around if they want to stay in the title race, basically. Because before this match, Arsenal would have already played and would be 9 points ahead. So they will know that they have to go to Liverpool and they will know that they will have to perform and they will know that they have to come away with 3 points if they want to stay in this Premier League title race. Because if any at all they let Liverpool get anything from this game, then the title race would have been wrapped the hell up. Anyway, people, because I'm gonna make a biased prediction so because I want City to stay in the title race, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna make this bold. Man City will get the victory at Liverpool. It hasn't happened in a long while, but Man City will definitely get the victory. People, what do you think? Leave your thoughts, leave your comments. This is my week 25 Premier League prediction. I'm out. So as I said, Man City 2, Liverpool 1. That's the prediction for this week. And let us go through it after the weekend and see how much did I get. Make your prediction also in the comment section and tell me what you think. Who you think gonna win the title? Don't say Gunners. I'm out.